Attention. Set.
Bet.
Right, man, right on.
Welcome back to LoyalTzzz podcast. I'm here with icyhallow. How you doing?
It's good. I'm doing good, man. We in LA right now with it.
Hell yeah. So to start out, what genre of music do you speak? Like, do you mostly stick to?
I'll be sticking to like melodic rap, trying different beats, just making the best melodies and lyrics that I possibly can. And yeah, I just be having fun with it. I try different genres all the time and just try to be as versatile as possible.
That's what I noticed in today's music world is versatile is big.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's trying everything. I don't know exactly when that popped off. Probably more recently, but would you say, like, what outside of what you said, what would be your next genre that you would go into? Like,
shit, like I like definitely putting rock elements into my stuff.
That's dope.
Like I really like just like trying whatever I possibly can, and like rock is just something that I've just been so accustomed to listening to growing up. So it's just cool to merge that together with like the rap shit and having a lot of guitar elements and everything like that. It's just like eerie for whoever's listening to it, and it's cool.
Who would you say your target audience is in a big aspect? Like,
I would just say people who are like really tapped in with being vulnerable with their emotions. I talk about a lot of emotional topics. I mean, not all the time when I'm freestyling. Sometimes I just be kind of talking about how I'm feeling, what I did that day, stuff like that. But like when I make music, it's a lot different than when I'm freestyling, because I can really take my time and really just like explain like my story.
Gotcha.
Not always in order and shit like that. Like, my albums are all different. It doesn't mean that it's in order or anything like that. But
so you out in Florida as well?
Nah, I'm actually not. I'm from Boston. I be going to Florida sometimes. I like to go see Kozar because we can get a lot of work done together. We be helping each other out creatively and like.
So did you guys meet via social media or somewhere else?
Yeah, we met on social media. We met through TikTok, doing TikTok live freestyling together and stuff like that. We met online 2 months later. We had a bunch of people to go to LA, and we kind of just all worked together and stuff like that, and just like combining all of the different elements, because everybody always knows something that somebody else doesn't. So like when you have a bunch of people who know something that you don't, and combining that together, everybody just like gets better at what they're doing and perfecting their craft.
So what I've noticed in my experience with this is not a lot of people like to network, because not a lot of people like to see you succeed more than them. So with this, has networking been easy for you, or is it still a struggle outside of like Kozar and other
I think
people?
it helps with me, because like I'm never that type of person who is like ever going to get upset that somebody is doing better than me. Like I always want my homies to be doing. I don't care if you're doing better than me. I don't care if you're doing the same as me, less than me. I'm gonna help you out no matter, regardless what it is. And yeah, pretty much. There's people out there that are always going to envy what you have and stuff like that, but if you can put your ego and envy aside and use it as a learning experience to just be better as a person and better creatively, like it's super helpful. And once you understand that, that's when shit really starts going up.
Gotcha. So what, with you being in LA right now, do you ever see yourself, once you're like mainstream and shit, find yourself owning a house out here, being around here?
Yeah, that would be cool. Like I have a lot of friends out in California, whether it's in LA or whether it's in the Bay Area, so I could definitely see myself being out here, especially because I like being around people who are like on the same type of timing that I'm on. Not just around people who are popping. I don't like just being around people who have motion and stuff like that. Like that's not me. I just like being around the type of people who are all working towards like a similar goal, like in their career, whether it's like with music or an engineer or a producer. Like I just like being around people who are like-minded and are just ready to completely just have no plan B, and they ready to just take this shit as far as they possibly can. And so that's who I really like to surround myself around. Yeah,
so what I've learned and noticed is like to have a plan B is to not 100% believe in yourself. So with this podcast thing is like I'll drive, I'll go maybe people will cancel, whatnot. It's all about that consistency and like staying active and seeing who people want to hear about. When it comes down to like doing TikTok lives, do you do that often?
Yeah, every day. I've been full-time for 2 years. I started about 3 years ago.
And it's been, what would you say it's been like really profitable for you in that aspect? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, there's always going to be times where, it's more profitable than other times. I've had months where, I've like had a crazy profitable month, and I was able to use that to be able to invest myself and put it back into the business. Because I mean, that's really what it is. Like your personal brand, your TikTok, your Instagram, all that stuff.
Investing in oneself.
Yeah, it's your business. So but then there's other months, it can be slower, and you just got to remind yourself, just because stuff is going slow, that it's not you. Like there can be times like I've even fell victim to like thinking, damn, like this month has been slow. Is there something wrong with me? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? And you just got to remember that it's not like that. Like, when any business in general, there's going to be times where it's slower than others. Like, Walmart's going to be more packed on Black Friday than it is going to be on the next Monday after that, or the next Tuesday after that. So it's just about, staying consistent and just knowing that there's going to be times where shit's better than other times, and, just, staying consistent with it.
Was there a time in your career where you were getting attraction, but it wasn't what you thought, and it dismotivated you and made you think like, maybe this isn't for me?
Yeah, for sure. TikTok Live is my main platform, when it comes to me growing myself, regardless that I have like, a ton of songs on Spotify and I'm still actively promoting my albums. But when it comes to TikTok, there's definitely been times where I've been demotivated. Oh, maybe, this isn't for me, whatever, because they changed something with the algorithm to where, last week I had 2,000 people in my live the whole time and shit was popping. And then the next week I had 200 people in there. And, like, you just got to remember that, like, there's so much shit when it comes to algorithms nowadays. Like, it's like, it's not just about social media. People are going to see what they want to see, and, the platforms are going to adjust towards that. So, you just got to stay consistent into those moments where, they're actively changing stuff that you wouldn't expect them to. You always got to be prepared. You always got to be prepared for the worst.
100%.
And, I've gotten to learning that better as, time has gone on. But yeah, definitely, like with any human, there's going to be a time where you're going to have those negative thoughts.
100%. I forgot to ask Kozar, but I'm gonna ask you, and this is just a question I do ask often. If you had a prediction when my podcast would take off and become something that is, widely watched and getting the recognition that is equal to the work put in, when would you predict that would happen?
It's really hard to make a prediction, but I think like there's more of a prediction. There would be a better prediction if I knew all of the work that was being put into it. So, you have a podcast clip, you could be doing a podcast with the most famous person in the world, but, if you edit this clip a different way than you edited another clip, like say, you're doing a podcast with Ariana Grande, when you do one clip with her, that gets 100,000 views, but the same clip that you edited differently has 10 million views. As long as you're actively trying different things and trying to see what the people like that's when I can predict that shit's gonna take off. As long as you're always trying to change.
Yeah, just to see when it will pop off.
Yeah, for sure. I can see it in your eyes, man. I know that you're dedicated. So,
do you think, like, is there anything else outside of music that you would pursue, like acting, modeling, any of that other, like, media type shit?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was younger, I definitely did a lot of acting stuff. Like, I would always get made fun of all the time because I was doing, like, in middle school, I was doing plays, and like I was doing Beauty and the Beast, I was doing Shrek, I was doing shit like that, and people looked at it like, damn, like he's doing that kind of stuff, like he's weird, so like definitely acting is something that I could definitely see myself like being into outside of music. But there's a lot of new stuff coming out right now that like you would never expect. Like there's platforms, like there's a platform right now where you can be streaming on that and have a crypto coin attached to that, and as the crypto coin does, like instead of people donating to your live stream, they're investing in you as a crypto coin. So
That's
it's like
crazy.
There's so many different things outside of the music But the thing that's good about music is you can take it to wherever you're going to be at, and it's always going to be something that people are going to respect the talent once you get to that point.
It's good that you've made friends with people with like-minded mentalities, because that helps motivate and it helps grow you as a person. You know, their platform, different audience, your platform, different audience. So when that comes together, and you know, it builds you up, builds him up, builds whoever is around up.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, even Kozar in the song Dominoes, we up, we down, we down. So it's like you coming up together, and yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Where do you see yourself at the end of 2025 when it comes down to your success?
The end of 2025?
Yeah, with just 2.5 months left or whatever.
Wow. I mean, I think that I'm just going to continue to take any new opportunities that I can right now, while I see them approaching me, you know, putting in those hours off a stream, you know, because like, I'm mainly a streamer, but what the people that are watching the stream don't see is all of the things that you're working on outside of the stream. You know, most 99% of people who do streaming on TikTok they weren't trying to be a TikTok streamer. They were just trying to put themselves in front of an audience to
promote like, their other shit.
Yeah, like their albums, or you know, people are a painter, or you know, whatever it is. So I just think that as I continue to actively work on all the stuff outside of the stream and start showing and keep showing the people what I'm doing, I think it's going to just continue to go up. And you know, whether it's 25, whether it's 2026, whether it's 2027, I'll know, regardless of what the outcome is, all of the work that I put in to get there, and that I didn't half-ass it.
Yeah. So at what point did you start engaging with becoming a full-time, you know, artist and streamer with that?
So yeah, I mean, I was working, you know, I was doing like a little retail job, and then I figured out about the TikTok live streaming and stuff, and I started streaming after work. You know, I would get home from work at like 10, 11 o'clock, and then I would start streaming. But once I realized that, you know, streaming was going well, I'm streaming till like 5 in the morning. And then by the time I get in bed, I'm not falling asleep till like 8 in the morning. And then I got work again in the morning. Yeah. So then I'm just like, now I'm being late to work, like, because I barely got any sleep or whatever, what it is. And, you know, eventually I was just like, you know, this is something that I can really go at full time as long as I put my mind to it. And it's just crazy. I never would have thought at the time, but then again, looking back at it, if I was there again, knowing what I know now, I would have understood why shit worked out the way that it did.
Has it been like a big shock to you, like seeing that you to now is like, you're in LA, you're not responsible to go to work right now, you just, you know, you're doing your thing, and
it hits you at the most random moments. Like, you know, like this shit, like while I'm here, it won't faze me at all. It feels completely normal. But then I go back either home or I go to wherever I am, and I'm just, you know, sitting there just thinking about stuff, and I'm like, wow, that's really where I just was, and I really was like in a position that I never would have expected. So it's super cool it's super cool in those moments. But, you know, stuff doesn't feel real, and, you know, I just be playing everything by ear, and I feel like that's something that like me and other freestylers, I mean, that's what we do as a job. We play stuff by ear. We go off the top all the time. So we're even taking that into account in our life. You know, we're playing it by ear. We're freestyling life, not just you know, music.
So when you get into that emotional part of like your songs are kind of like emotionally connected or like vulnerability, what would you say the main topic is based off of your music? Like, to whom is it reaching in that, you know, vulnerable state? You know,
has to do with people that, you know, have gone through, you know, the normal stuff that you've heard about, like heartbreak, you know, being put in positions that you don't want to be in, being uncomfortable, not being happy with your situation, stuff like that. But also, I'd be making sure to throw in there, like, that there is a way to get out of that. Like, you know, I've been gone through a lot of stuff. Like, I've been in a psych ward like 4 times, you know, never thinking that I would be able to get out of that and being able to make something with music and stuff like that. You know, having, you know, people that I made music with, that, you know, we met in like a bad place, like when I was at the psych ward, that have passed away and didn't get to experience the stuff like coming to LA and stuff like that. So I always kind of be keeping that in mind, and I like to put that in the music that I'm making, to where I'm being completely vulnerable and transparent about the things that I've been through, and the way that you can overcome them just by, you know, trying your best and actively working towards what you want in life.
100%. If there is a person who is your 100% ride or die, like never lost faith or belief in you, and just kind of always says, yeah, you got this shit.
Hey, Joe Bazinga, if you watching this right now, which I know you are, bro, always have held me down, bro. Always told me that shit was gonna go up, even when my music used to be super ass and it was terrible and it was completely unlistenable. He never lost faith, you know, and I could name multiple people who are like that, but he's the main one, and he knows that. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Shout out to my dog, man.
Like I was telling Kozar, I feel like you know, even with as much discipline and motivation you have, it kind of takes someone to see what you see in yourself and kind of show you, like, yo, don't abandon this is what you're supposed to be doing, you know. It takes that outside eye that sees what you're doing and how it's going, and no matter if it's a small audience or not, to like truly motivate. And that way, you know, you're not just letting you down, you're letting down the people that believe in you.
Right, exactly. And you know it's possible, you know, nothing is impossible. And you know, if like in our circle, like nobody can give up, because if somebody were to give up in our circle, that just wouldn't make any sense, because you see that stuff is happening, you see that's possible, you see it firsthand. Like a lot of people who maybe in their circle don't have people who are actively chasing their dreams, you know, and are maybe content with the life that they're living, that isn't them actively working on like a insane goal.
Yeah.
Like they'll only see that through the internet, you know. They'll see people who are on the come up, like they'll see people in the underground that are on the come up,
and they think it's only for one. They I've noticed a lot, especially me. I live in a small town where there's not a lot of that, right? So a lot of people struggle to comprehend the possibility of my dream, right?
For sure.
They struggle to understand that. They think that, oh, the people that live in these houses and own them, these people are special in some way. Nah, they're just the people that went and put themselves out there and chased something that was not normal.
I couldn't have said it any better. No, that's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
no one in my town thinks, oh, they're just like, oh, he's just going and talking with these people, he's getting a chance. Maybe I don't have that following yet, but it's like, I don't know. I wouldn't care if I had money. I would just care about the freedom to go and do this.
The freedom to go and do it. And
that's all.
Like I said, like putting, like, it's not the money, it's the money being able to put back into the business and continue to chase what you need in, you know, your situation with your dream, you know.
Yeah, it's not
whatever you want, it's your life.
Yeah, it's not finances, it's financial freedom. It's you know, like if I was tied to, like, I work a job, right? So like I'm tied to that job, and I, you know, can't leave or have these responsibilities for these days, and it's like that's restricting me from going out and doing these things. That's why I'll take the chance. I'll get fired tomorrow for coming out to LA, but whatever, you know, because these people that are going to fire me will realize that they've been working at this company for 20 years. They've been working at 30 years. They're going to retire from there. They're going to live a standard basic life. And it's like, I'm in this generation where dreams are, you know,
most possible that they've ever been.
Yeah. Phone. Everybody has it. And
everybody has it. Everybody can go on their phone and figure it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like, how many monthly listeners you got right now?
So I got like 700 right now.
Gotcha.
I mean, like at the peak of my monthly listeners, I probably had around 6,000. You know, I had somebody that was actively helping me out with getting me in like editorial playlists and like the big Spotify playlists and stuff like that. But you know, he's doing Fortnite YouTubing now. You know, he's making success with that. So you know, I'm not gonna knock what he's doing. You know, people are going to you know, put the past in the past, and they're gonna do what they feel is best for themselves, and I can't knock that. You know, he's gonna do what he gotta do. But you know, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, monthly listeners is definitely important, especially when it comes to you know, when people are looking at you and looking at you as somebody who they want to listen to. You know, but at the same time, it's not really everything, because you know, there's people who have a million times the monthly listeners that I have right now that have not been in the situations that I've been. So I like to look at life more as experiences rather than numbers and money and all that kind of stuff, you know.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
So
like I was just saying in there, like I hate spending money on clothes. That's one of the things that I hate doing. Like, I'm a rapper. You would expect me to want to spend crazy amounts of money on clothes, but like I would rather use that money as an experience.
Yeah, like this trip.
Yeah, like this trip. I would rather spend $10,000 on a trip that I know is going to, you know, better my life in the long run, and knowing and having memories back on it, than me spending, you know, $1,000 on a hoodie. You know?
That's what I'm saying. Is like this trip, I'm not going home with anything that, like, physically, I'm not going home with anything I didn't bring here.
Okay.
But because I didn't buy anything, but money's been spent. But it's an experience, like the Santa Monica Pier, that I suggest you guys go to it. You know, just that Ferris wheel at the top, you know, when someone else is getting on and you just seeing the ocean and everything. It's all about that experience. That's what I'm going to have. Like, that jacket might get ruined that I bought. Right. But this memory, as long as, and I film everything, because
it's more important. Because
I think, like, that's capturing the moment. I film everything. I record everything. Take photos. Because I like to, you know, look back and see, you know, remember, like, unlock that memory, you know, like you hear something, it unlocks a childhood memory that you forgot about, some movie or whatever the fuck it is. Memories and you know, the experience is all that matters. Right.
The experience is something, like, anybody can buy something, but not everybody can buy the experience that you had.
Like, I could have came here and you guys could have been like, yo, we don't got time for a podcast, you want to chill for a minute? That would have been enough for me to feel fulfilled for this trip that I had experienced, new friendships and, you know, understanding people on a deeper level than what is portrayed.
Well, and that's what I like about having, like, the circle that I'm in, because, you know, like Kozar or whoever it is, like in this situation, Kozar, like, he's not going to invite you to this place in our circle if he doesn't completely have 100% judgment that we aren't going to be uncomfortable about you being here. You know what I mean? So it's like,
which is crazy to think, like, we're all from different places. You say you're from Boston, right?
Yep.
They're from Tennessee or Florida. I'm from Nevada or, like, Utah or Cali, right? So it's like these different locations, but
50 years ago, that's never happened.
Yeah, but yet we can all take a shot and toast to, you know, the better thing.
Like, I mean, like, when you were doing the podcast with Cole, like, we were in there and we talked about every, like, single thing under the sun. Like, there was not one topic that wasn't touched in the 1 hour or 2 hours that you guys were out here.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like there's always something that, you know, people can bring to the table no matter who they are, and it's just, like, so cool. It's so beautiful to see stuff like that. Like, we've never met, but it's just like we're having a conversation that's flowing, and
it's all, I'd like to think it's all because of that similar mentality of what we're chasing. Maybe it's not the same end goal, but it is kind of, you know. Like, if I say I'd stream gaming, one, you know, does TikTok, the other one does Instagram posts, you know, but we're all going towards the same goal of, like, being able to share our life. Something
we want
bigger.
to share our life. We want something bigger. We want a platform. We want, you know, people to understand, like, this is real. This is serious. Like, this is what we want. And if you aren't going to be somebody who's going to support that, then you weren't somebody that I would want to even have a conversation with in the anyways, you know? Because
I could be like, oh, why don't you just go work a job, you know, make shit money, barely be able to afford life, you know? Because, like, nothing, almost everything is unreachable to a normal, you know, employee. So why not chase something bigger? And I'm okay with people that are content in that lifestyle of, you know, work and home and all that, but me, I'm not. And people hate to accept that. People hate to accept that you're chasing something bigger. Why not just take the simple route?
Yeah, and I think, you know, a lot of people like that are the type of people who have thought of stuff better for themselves, but, you know, they never actually pressed go. They never pressed.
And then it was too late. Too late.
What they think, which I don't even agree with. I
think like Jelly Roll, 39 by the time he pops off.
Exactly.
People think, oh, I'm too old, or it's too late, or I'm not in the right area. Like, the longest time with my content, I live in a small town, so I thought, how would I even get people? No one's gonna come to my 0 following and come down to my house in the middle of nowhere to do this podcast. So what I threw in an alternative. I'll drive to them.
There's no too late. There's no situation that's too, like, like, for example, like, you know, people will be like, you know, I just had a hard day at work, you know, I just worked 8 hours, like, I don't have time to, like, focus on my dreams. And I'm like, okay, well, the 20 minutes that, you know, or the 10 minutes or whatever that you were making a coffee or whatever, was that a 10 minutes that you could have used to, you know, research what you want to do that's going to benefit your dream? You know what I mean? So like any possible time that you have, there's time.
Plus,
you're not at work 24 hours.
For the younger people, sleep, we don't need it that much.
Right.
I could sleep for 3 hours. I could work, and then I could do whatever the fuck after. You know, I can do all that shit after. And you know, if you want it bad enough, you'll make time. No matter your predicament, no matter where you're at. Like realistically,
it's about taking risks.
Yeah, realistically, I could be homeless and whatever. There's almost public showers in most places if you're in a city. There's most Wi-Fi everywhere. You get a grasp on a fucking, you know, old ass, you know, telephone from Walmart, whatever you get from a pawn shop, you can make something. You know, it's like that mentality that
this is exactly the stuff that I be thinking about all the time. Like this, like see, like what we was even talking about. I mean, having that similar mentality. Like this is stuff that I think about on a daily basis. Like you are so 100% spot on with what you're talking about.
So when I came here, the only thing I thought that was sad is like the homeless population is so big, but I think of how I can become not homeless in a day. Beach, you wash yourself in the ocean. I don't know. You know, you find yourself in a thrift shop spending that money that you would have spent on food, on clothes, and bam, you know you're employed in and out, whatever it may be.
I think it's super difficult to become homeless if drugs aren't involved.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not saying that it is. Like I'm not saying like I'm not trying to be insensitive to the homeless people who
100%
are
not.
like trying to, you know, have a better life and are sober and all that stuff. But you know, but it is not very hard to see that the majority of those people do struggle with drugs or whatever you know what it is. So you know that might be holding them back, but you know, I don't know.
I would say, like, I've seen drug use. I haven't personally partaked because I know I want this, right? Like in a lot of drugs. So I can't 100% understand that, but from what I see, it's like, man, people could be living, and some of them are comfortable with it. Like I know people that. My dad knows people that are in Skid Row, and he invited them to come get a better life, and they're like, nah, I'm comfortable with this what I'm in.
Right.
So it's like, if you're content and happy, then do whatever you want.
Yeah,
as long
I mean,
as
a
it's
lot of
not
the
negative.
LA homeless people will tell you that they would rather be on the street right now doing whatever they're doing than work a normal job at McDonald's and barely make a living. Like, they'll tell you that
because there's no stress.
Yeah.
That's what I would see as like better. Like,
yeah,
you don't gotta stress where you're gonna go sleep because you sleep wherever the fuck you want. You know. This podcast is like multi-fucking genre-rated, you know? It's like it covers a lot of different aspects of
and that's
reality.
the thing, versatility. That's the first thing we talked about.
That's what happens when I do these podcasts. I could tell like some people are more slower-paced talking, like, you know, going over things, and there's people that are fast, and I'm like a fast talker already. So like a podcast can go 40 minutes with someone that's more like, you know, going over things slowly, and then me and you, we're only at like 20 minutes, 27 minutes, and we're like went through a fucking bulk of things.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Like the difference between just humans in general. Like every human is different. Everybody talks different. Everybody walks different. You know.
100%. If there's anything that you wanted to put out there to your fans, or just like to anybody that you were trying to like was in a position that needed a little, you know, motivation and push to do it, what would you say?
I definitely love you. I definitely love you. If you have even listened to just one of my songs, maybe you listen to a 20-second snippet of my songs. That shit is just it's amazing to me, you know? Like, I mean, there was times where like 9 years ago when I was making songs that freaking nobody listened to it. So it's just like even having 100 people listening to me is like insane. And then even having a bigger platform than that, where like I'm on TikTok and I'm full time being able to do music, like I just really hope that it motivates people, and anybody who's going through a rough time or whatever they're going through, wherever they're going through, you know what I mean? Like, you know, if the lyrics are helping, even if the beat's helping, like there's music that I listen to where the lyrics have nothing to relate to me, but the beat, I feel something. Like I feel something, and, you know, it makes me relate to you. You know, not everything has to do with like verbal when it comes to, I just want to let everybody know that just keep doing your thing. And, you know, if somebody's telling you not to do something, then the reason that they're telling you that is just because they're scared, and there's been times where there was something that they wanted to do that they didn't do. So
100%.
And I just voice crack like crazy, but
it's getting dark out here in LA. Weather's not what I expected, but I appreciate you coming out and doing this.
Yeah, that was awesome. This is cool. I've never seen a fucking this is like completely different.
Yeah, it's not fancy. We got a plywood board holding my mics.
Hey,
but
you got the you got the sure mics though. You got the sure mics. That's the important part. Like,
yeah.
You're still investing in yourself, and like you know what you're doing. So it's super respectable.
I appreciate you. Everybody go listen to icyhallow. Let's get those monthly listeners up.
Let's get the monthlies up.
Yeah, and I'll even add some songs because,
for sure,
you know, sometimes the best music that you ever could hear, you just haven't been projected to yet. So
I've got over 1,500 unreleased songs right now, and I guarantee you that one of them would bring me to 1 million monthly listeners. But guess what? I don't know which one that is. So
yeah, and that's what's crazy. Most of my music in my library is it's stuff I heard because someone showed me. I don't like really go out and investigate music. I like to, because then a song ties me to a person based off experience. So most of my songs in my library, I added it because I was hanging out with this girl or this dude or this.
Yeah, people attach it to their experiences. Yeah, like there can be a song that people are like, why are you listening to that? Like that song's ass. Okay, but that song, I was listening to it while I was at this one pool, back in this one state with a bunch of people, and we had a great time. Like it has to do with the experiences. So even if you think, like, if you're a musician and you think, people might not like your song, like all it takes is somebody listening to your song in like a certain environment, like,
and it ties them to that moment.
Yeah, like there's certain songs that I never liked, and then guess what? I saw that song being performed in concert, and I'm like, oh wait, now this is being attached to a memory. And like, there's people on the internet that are going to hate on your song, right? But if they went to your live performance and they saw the energy of that song and people were mosh pitting in the crowd, guess what? You're probably going to be mosh pitting to that song. Yeah. You never would have thought you would, because you heard it on headphones while you were laying in bed at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, maybe the vibe wasn't right for it.
The vibe wasn't right. You had a bad day. You got to wake up early in the morning. You got to do some shit that you don't want to do. So when you listen to that song, you thought you didn't like that fucking song, because not because the song was bad, but just because the experience that you were experiencing.
Or it's like some shit like this. Like if I was thinking of like Sticky by Tyler the Creator, right? Mm-hmm. I want to be listening to that while I'm laying in bed.
Right.
The hype's not right.
You want to hear that shit at the club.
Yeah, but if I'm in the gym or if I'm driving and, enjoying, it's like songs are meant for certain things, and maybe I'm projected to it. Maybe I listened to all your songs on the way back to Utah because of this experience right here. But that's just what people got to acknowledge, is like, you got to kind of, as the artist putting themselves out there, you got to put yourself out there and kind of maybe try listen to someone.
For sure. Yeah.
You never know.
Perfect way to say it. Like, I'm not gonna listen to freaking, Fuck My Baby Dad by Sexy Red on the regular in my headphones on my AirPods while I'm just chilling at home fucking making food. Yeah. But if I hear that shit at the club, I'm probably gonna turn up.
For real. Is there anything else you'd like to put out there?
Shit, icyhallow. Every platform. You never know which one I'm gonna move to next. I'm trying everything. I try everything. Versatility, like we said in the beginning. And just like, just watch out, because, we got a circle of people with like-minded people that are never going to quit and never going to give up. And if you ever think that you're not going to see us again, you're wrong.
100%. Everybody, it's icyhallow. We're in the hills, LA. Let's go. Wish this man great luck, and everything's going to pop off. I believe it.
Same to you, bro. Same with this podcast, man. This is some cool shit.
Bet. Everybody, out. Let's go.